Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, let's talk about the NBA 2K25 Season 2 patch. So, as you can see, we have a lot of different bullet points of everything that's been addressed in the patch, as well as some speculation things that we're here to maybe allude to a little bit. You know, you can see them listed at the bottom here. But anyway, I gave a little bit of a grade, and then we're going to give a much deeper expansion on how I really feel about it afterwards. And as you can see, just a really brief synopsis of everything. We have the open shooting buff, the shot contest kind of fix, if you will, as well as the no hand up glitch. If you guys saw my video on that as well, it was honestly a saving grace to shot contests in general while they were really terrible before they have been now fixed / kind of buffed a little bit. But the B is kind of a reason why we're talking about they're not really entirely fixed yet, but that's just a whole nother topic. Passing lane nerf, takeover progress buff, close shot fade glitch has been patched, dashboarding on proving grounds has not been patched, and that's why it's an F. Well, that's a pretty easy explanation. Banner complications in the proving grounds of making it so like when you can't get a game quickly if you're like gold ranked or higher or anything like that if your banner is showing, so you have to do stupid things to make it so your banner isn't showing, and then you don't get the double rep or like whatever extra rep you get for being ranked high in the proving grounds. It's a whole nother topic that I'm sure not a lot of you guys care about because you probably don't even play in the proving grounds very much. Close shot mash, and let's just kind of group these bottom three ones in. Close shot mash, drop step nerf, and outlet pass buff. Now, as far as the patch notes, they mentioned that drop step nerf was a thing. I don't know whether it feels nerfed or not yet. I guess it sort of does, but I just don't want to put like a sure definitive take on that or anything like that. And I have my own two speculations a little bit that I feel like the close shot mash is a little bit improved and interior defense feels a little bit worse overall currently in terms of the contesting beneath the basket close shots. And then also outlet pass buff. When I was playing fives a couple of days ago, man, it felt like after patch that these outlet passes were really on the money, just super accurate, just way better passes, and the same exact builds. So let me know what y'all think about those little speculation ones a little bit. But now let's go back to the top and kind of give our opinions on some of these things. Now, the open shooting buff, I know a lot of people have been a big hater of it. You can see I have it in the B. It's not anything that I think is a super great thing or terrible thing for that matter. I think it's overall more positive than negative toward the game. The state of the game that we were currently in, you know, a couple of weeks ago, like even just a week ago for that matter, was people in pick and roll defense are just sitting in drop D all game. They're not playing any hedge D or anything like that. They're forcing guards to score because they understand that it's extremely hard for the guard to score efficiently and effectively. And what that led to is very boring pick and roll game, very boring, you know, just ISO game as well, where pretty much people are just gonna, you know, play like really low on the drop and force other people to shoot, force the weakest player on the team as far as shooting ratings to shoot, period. And then it's gonna be hard for them to compete. It's just overall, I know it sounds like I'm kind of talking circles around this stuff, but I think it's a good thing for the game that the open shooting has been buffed. It forces you to play better defense if you can at least get, you know, like an open on the shot rather than a wide open or anything like that. It's still going to make a little bit of an impact, as well as obviously being able to get it to be a yellow is a big deterrent in terms of making allowing people to make the shots, you know. And that's where we'll kind of allude to the shot contest change. But I do just want to address one more time of how I think this is a good thing. Honestly, post scores were completely dominating the game, and a little bit of a shooting buff has now made it where on twos, I was seeing, like, me and Tanner were playing twos really a ton all day today, and we were seeing so many more guard and center combos where guards are actually a true threat in the pick and roll game, and it's actually making a really respectable gameplay offensively, and it just looks good in my opinion, as opposed to like people just sitting and drop the whole game, forcing the guard to shoot 14 shots and he just misses like, you know, 8 of them or something like that, and it's just really ugly gameplay pre-patch. It looks very clean and very, you know, unified as far as the gameplay now after the shooting buff. And you know, this is coming from the pure inside out here as a slasher and just a glass cleaner, whatever you want to make the case of. I am a fan of the shooting buff because I think it makes pick and roll a little bit more fun, as well as obviously spot ups are gonna have an easier time. I even have played my team triple threat with my dad, and him and my other friend were shooting a lot better today than previously, and that's just the truth of it. So you got to play tighter defense, you got to respect the shots more, and that's just the truth of it. It's no more gapping people, forcing them to take open shots and just missing them, and that's just bad ball. I think it's a good thing that open shooting is actually respectable now, but that's just my take on it. So let's kind of segue over to the shot contest topic and talk about that now, and how that also goes hand in hand with the open shooting a little bit. So we already have talked about how, you know, getting the yellows on the shots, it's very effective and very helpful, obviously, because I think the shooting buff was more so for open rather than contested. But the shot contest system itself, I don't think is in a great place even still. It's better though, where like hands up actually matters. You know, previously I was showing you guys the kind of glitch where you would just essentially stand right in the offensive player's face, and you would get a red or a yellow pretty much every single time. And then you'd also be able to still contribute to the rebound because of playing no hand up defense and, you know, putting yourself in an animation to take yourself out of the rebound contention. So it was like a compound effect that was even more effective if you were a lockdown who could also crash rebounds. But point being, that has now been patched. No more no hands up, you know, getting yellows and reds or anything like that. You can still get opens to happen rather than wide opens, but not gonna work effectively for the most part. But with the right stick up, it's more effective for sure, and jump contests are now finally effective to some degree, you know, and it just varies, because again, it's still not a great shot contest system, period, but it's much improved from where it was like a year ago or a week ago. So I'm a big fan of how it looks now in comparison to that, but it's just tough because defensively speaking, we're talking about passing lane nerfs, shot contest nerfs, buffing open shooting for the offensive patch, takeover progression buff, so that's helping offense in most cases as well. The only thing that's hurting offense in this patch is the close fade glitch, which obviously isn't even something that 95% of the people who play the game even do. So overall, it's a big buff to offense and a big nerf to defense if you want to add everything up collectively. And now switching into the passing lane nerf discussion, I will say I think this is a little bit of an overreaction. Now, I've been hearing about how it's like those teleport warp glitch animations and stuff like that that really got nerfed, and it wasn't actually lanes themselves. The people backpedaling and backtracking off things that they've talked about, and just I think a lot of overreaction to the passing lanes being nerfed. I say B because I don't think they necessarily needed to be nerfed like crazy, and they really didn't get nerfed like crazy, if you ask me. I think it looks very similar to pre-patch. So I'm a fan of like keeping right where it's at right now is a good spot for passing lanes, if you ask me. It feels like it got minorly nerfed, barely at all, and I think that's a good spot to be. Because realistically, obviously, defense still needs something going for them. You can't get pluck steals very consistently in this game. If lane steals are bad, shot contests are bad, and it's just like terrible ball everywhere, and people can shoot open super good, it's going to be a really disgusting game defensively. But I think we're in an okay spot as far as the offense versus defense power currently. It may be a little bit offensive bias now, but I think it's still an okay thing. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff right here. So, takeover progress buff. Now, I personally am starter 5, so I have like the takeover accelerator, which is a 10% bonus to any positive things that happen toward my take. But man, I've been seeing even my teammates that don't have it, as well as just in general, like how the team chemistry being maxed out helps your takeover in terms of the progression. And man, it is so good. I love that takeover is actually a usable thing currently. And the takeover ability powers don't seem to be super crazy, where like sharp take and shot take aren't like super crazy broken. I will say Tanner was running the MIDI Maestro that has the Silky Shooter ability earlier in 2s, and that thing is money when he gets it on, to be fair, but it's 99 mid-range and, you know, all types of super high, you know, like badges that are related to that as well. So overall, I just wanted to talk about how I do like how Takeover is now going to make play an influence on the game. Like originally, I was just running Takeover strictly for the rating boost. Like Slice, for instance, was giving me speed, agility, and driving dunk. All 3 things that I wanted. However, the poster machine ability of helping my meter dunks isn't exactly something that I care about that much from a competitive aspect. Something like See the Future as a glass take is a way better ability. So now I'm left with a little bit of a debate, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are maybe internally maybe arguing some things back and forth in your head as far as whether the takeovers are more worth running for the attribute boost or the actual takeover ability itself now. On top of that, it's actually easy to get the takeover all the way up, and you can make that argument for the rating boost. You could talk about something like Slice being a very easy +7 speed, agility, and driving dunk for me to attain on the build, rather than it was a little bit harder to actually get those ratings up by +7 to get to level 5. So it's a good spot to be in, where I think something like that is a really fun thing to add to the game, whether it's the abilities or just to be able to have like a high level on takeover consistently throughout the course of the game. And I am a fan of the way takeover works in this game too. I really do love the passive consistent boost going up, and how it doesn't have to just snap all the way back to 0 once your takeover is done, per se. There is no such thing as your takeover being done in this game. It's truly a hot and cold factor of how you're playing, and I love that. I really do think it's a good thing for the game. I think this is a great takeover system overall. So that's been my favorite thing about the patch so far, is the takeover progress buff. I am a huge fan of this actually being something that's worth considering, in game. Close fade glitch patch, obviously there's not a whole reason to talk about that or the dashboarding proving grounds topic. There's a whole reason that these are A++ and F. It's that this one did happen and this one didn't, and they're both very necessary patches if you ask me, and it just makes a lot of sense. Now, as far as the close fade glitch, I just haven't seen people effectively doing it. Any attempts that I've seen on my own team of doing it have not worked out, and that's what they said was going to happen, so that's just me taking their word for it. Now, for the dashboarding and the proving grounds, I already hit one of the developers up. I told him I was doing one test game of trying to see that for myself, because I just had to know it, because I had not heard from anybody on Twitter for like 3 hours responding to the tweet asking if it had been patched or not. So I just did it myself one time, and it's still a thing. You can still dash out of the game and not lose any progress toward your rep, if you will, on the proving grounds rank, and that's so bad. I hate it, and it's even terrible for the sake of longevity of Season 2, because now people are going to be able to spam that on the early end of it and just climb the leaderboards like crazy. I hope they do have some sort of enforcement and stuff like that on the rules for this, because realistically, everybody's been given a fair warning at this point of understanding that this is in the game and it shouldn't be exploited in the first place. So I don't know. It's tough to say, because you can still make the argument of it's up to 2K to fix their game, and players should be able to do whatever is allowed by the game to continue to do. And that's why something like the close fade glitch, it's a good thing that it got patched, because that is something that you can't ban someone for doing a post fade from 4 feet away. That's literally just something that the game needs to fix. And I think you could say the same thing about the proving grounds dashboarding situation. I, however, like I said, have only dashed out of one game so far. Other than that, it's been straight legit. And obviously only 2K can atone for that. I obviously can't do anything other than just tell you guys that that's the truth. But I don't know. Overall, I don't think I'm going to concern myself with the proving grounds too much. It's just frustrating that they didn't fix this, because man, if it weren't for the banner complication thing and the dashboarding, oh my god, it'd be so fun playing this game competitively, with the fact that like the post fade glitch is out. They don't got all types of super toxic nonsense going on with like drop steps have been, at least as they say, slightly nerfed as well, and I think this is even still somewhat guardable for that matter. And like, there's so many playstyles prospering on 2s and 5s and stuff like that now. I think the game's in such a great spot, offensively and defensively balanced, and it's just unfortunate that they fumbled so hard on the proving ground stuff, and I hope that they can fix this very quickly, because they need to fix it very quickly if this is actually going to be worth playing at all in Season 2, or if they have some form of like, temporary bans on people or something like that for the ones that are continuing to still do it in this new season. But it's tough, man, because I really don't know how you can really justify doing that in some cases as well. But anyway, as far as the unsures, we've already kind of talked about it. The drop step nerf they did address, and that is a thing. Close shot mash, I just have seen a couple of instances where I need to jump a lot more than I feel like I used to when guarding post scores currently, as far as people being underneath the basket. And it just feels like hands-up defense isn't making quite as much of an impact. Let me know what you guys think of that. These last 3 are a lot more feedback-based. I want to hear what you guys think in terms of like whether they have been touched or not. So there's that for the post-score and the post-score defenders, if you will, out there, like the centers, interior defenders. And then the drop step nerf, and then the outlet pass buff. For those who play like Rec Center or 5v5 Pro-Am and stuff like that, or even 3s, if you're throwing way more accurate outlet passes, let me know if that's the case, because this is something I do believe is maybe either just they didn't mention it, but it truly is something that got buffed, or maybe I just didn't read that they did buff it and it just wasn't the patch notes and I just didn't see it, or I'm just spitting BS and maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, outlet pass buff, I think so, but still unsure. So that is our kind of rankings, if you will, on all the Season 2 updates. I will say, I didn't put this on the video, but I still should talk about the season rep rewards. Honestly, I think it's kind of fire that they're doing a +1 attribute cap, or cap breaker, if you will, for this level 40. Even though it's only +1, I still think that's cool that they're doing additional, like more than just +15 as a maximum for the year. I think a passive like +1 per season is a cool idea, you know? So it's way better than like a level 40 season reward from last season. It's sad because it's not even memorable. I don't even know what the heck it was, to be honest with you. Because like if level 15 and 30 are the max +1s, which also you could really talk about how it's a little bit frustrating / tough that you're gonna have to buy the pro pass or anything like that like consistently to be able to get the max +1s for the majority of the year, because obviously if they're gonna reset and you just hit level 40 after like, you know, let's say 40 days pass and you finally hit level 40 or level 30 for that matter even, and just got your max +1 for the tier 1, and you only had that for like 4 days, then you have to do it all over again, it's gonna be hard for you to retain it. So if you're someone who's buying the pro pass and like, you know, using the coins and stuff consistently, and or even buying the level skips, which is crazy, I will never do that after doing it season 1 because I just did it instantly for content's sake, but won't be doing that anymore. That's a crazy thing to do, buying $40, $50 worth of level skips when you could just grind it out for a couple of days and you'll be there. In my position, I know for you guys it's a little bit different. So again, I think it's important to keep that in mind. And as far as how I judge that in terms of the, you know, season rewards, I think it's still good though that it is a seasonal reward. I think it's something that it probably shouldn't just be for free and easy, but it's easier to say from my perspective of someone who's going to be able to grind for it a lot easier. Let me know what you guys think of the max +1s being a season reward. I don't know. Just let me know what you think, because I obviously am interested in some perspectives on this stuff. But yeah, it's a little bit tough. I've played all day pretty much and not got my max +1 in the tier 1. I got the tier 2 about like 60, 50 games in, something like that on the 2s, and then so did Tanner as well. And that was after buying the Hall of Fame pass of the 10 level skips. So that was actually even more so like me being a little bit advantageous in that regard. But anyway, let me know what you think of the update. Let me know what you think of these rankings. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, something new, turn on noties, all good stuff. Like always, try to want 2,000 likes. And if you made it to the end of the video, put rank in the comments, search sports way through, or you could put patch as well. Hey man, I gotta say, this is also all one take. You can see how I'm like passionate about a lot of these things that are being spoken about, because I don't really need to cut them out and pause and think about what I'm thinking. I really do feel very strongly about everything here, honestly, so much. And yeah, it was all one take the whole way through. So anyway, that's all video. I hope y'all enjoyed. And if you did, feel free to drop a like, something new, all that good stuff. Also, in case you guys didn't know, I'm pairing with NBA 2K Labs again this year. So you can use my code Laker at checkout for 20% off of any subscription link that you decide to go for. Obviously, what you're going to find on here is going to be really useful information that we're showing all across the whole screen right now, but mainly to be talked about is obviously the jump shot data. So the guys are cool enough to let me show you the information from the 2K24 premium jumper data. If you want the access to the 25 year, you'd obviously have to subscribe to their premium and, you know, using my code as well if you would like. But as you can see, like we have them sorted by speed right here. You can sort by every one of these different individual categories right here between the fastest millisecond jump shots. You can sort that by your individual height between the guards, wings, and bigs. You can sort by speed, green window, the early, middle, and late end of the green window as well, and then the total accumulation of all of that. And I mean, that's how I came to the conclusion that Terrence Mann was a really good base last year, combining all that information. Crazy stuff. So again, to be able to find something like this in 25, you would be able to just sign up for the premium. So what you're going to do when you're ready to sign up, you would just come over here and click register with whatever length of subscription you'd like to go for. After you hit register, it'll ask you to put in a promo code. You just put in Laker when you hit apply coupon right here, and boom, you're looking good. With code Laker, you're going to get 20% off your subscription. If you guys would like to help me out, I get a percentage based off your initial purchase only. So a recurring bill, like if you get a 1 month subscription, I only get the 1 month that you sign up for initially, and then anything past that, I don't. So if you do plan to go for like a 3 or a 6 or even a year-long subscription, feel free to just, you know, do that if you want to support me. But I understand not everybody wants to go for that, so it's all good if you don't. Anyway, appreciate you guys for watching. Let's get back to the video. On that, take it easy, man. Peace.